Hello, this is Meg. I'm trying out something new this month for my newsletter. I had a special message that I wanted to include in my newsletter, but it was getting kind of wordy, which is a thing with me. So I thought that instead of tappity tap tapping it into the keyboard, I would instead record it in the video. Hope you like it. My message this month is in fact something that I don't usually spend all that much time talking about, and that's investments. In general, I think investments are way overhyped, way too much focus put on it, way too much fear surrounding it. And it's usually just, one more piece of your financial jigsaw puzzle, no more important than your savings rate or what insurance you have or that sort of thing. But I did read a recent article by Jason Zweig, who is a really well-known financial journalist, writes for the Wall Street Journal and that sort of thing. And one of his recent articles really got to me and made me start to worry a little bit. So if you've been paying attention to the stock market at all, you might know that basically for the last 8 years, it's just been on a steady rise upwards. A few, corrections here and there, but it's been a pretty good ride. And this article by Jason Zweig talked about sort of the recent massive influx of investors, largely retail investors, but also professional investors, into index funds and exchange-traded funds. These are passive investing products. All they do is try to match what the market is doing. If the market goes up 5 points, the index funds basically go up 5 points. They go down 5 points, so do the funds. And these are the products that I use in my investing approach. I think it's great. It's called passive investing. It is recognizing that you're not smart enough, or you don't have a good enough crystal ball to predict what's going to happen. So I have no problem with using this approach or using these sorts of products to invest. What I am worried by, though, is the recency and sort of the size of the influx of money into these sorts of investments by retail investors. Because historically, this sort of big influx of money into the market is a great indicator that the upward trajectory of the market is over and we're in for a crash or a correction or whatever you want to call it. Because unfortunately, people have a tendency to miss out on all the gains of the market, and they need years and years of proof from the market that the market can go up before they get over their fear of it and jump into the market. And by then, all the gains have already been had. So it's quite possible that is happening now, and that we are reaching the end of this pretty epic bull market. I am in no way suggesting that we attempt to predict exactly when the market will crash, because we can't. Any study of professional projections of what the market's going to do are laughable. Oftentimes you've got less than a 50% hit rate, which is worse than random. You'd be better off flipping a coin. But what it does mean is this is a great opportunity, a great reminder to look at how risky your investments are. Any money you have invested in stocks, individual stocks, stock mutual funds, anything like that, you could lose half of it really quickly. That's what happened from 2008-2009. The S&P 500 lost about half its value. So take a look at your investments. Of the money you have in stock, pretend you lost half of it. How would you feel? How would your finances be? Would you be devastated, either emotionally or financially? If so, it's probably a good time to revisit that and adjust your investments to something that you could handle if it just drops its value by half. Because that's going to happen at some point, and I don't know when. It might not be for a while, but the last thing you want to do is freak out when it happens and sell as the market is still tanking and lock in all those losses. The best thing you can do is ride out the market when it drops in value, and it's easier to do that if you don't have too much in stock. So that is the message I wanted to bring to you today, is a reminder that investing is not complicated, but it's that emotional element that really gets you. So make sure that you're invested in a way that you can survive both financially and emotionally when the next stock market crash happens. Oh, thanks for tuning in to my first video for my newsletter, and I hope you liked it.